Hello, I am Indigo Sage coming at you to introduce myself. I am the creator of the hot blog spot for spiritual awakening at unapologeticallysage.com. Again, that is unapologeticallysage.com. That's where you can go and read about my spiritual journey, my spiritual awakening, and we can also discuss yours by whenever you comment below. So also, you can check out Unapologetically Sage on Instagram, where I feature my walking meditation photography. Okay, it's like a photography essay that I put on there. Also, you can get a little bit more of me and my opinions and spiritual things that are my inspirations on Facebook under unapologeticallysage.com. That is where you can find the Facebook page. You also can find the personal Facebook page of Indigo Sage, which is me on Facebook. And the difference is you'll see the logo, my logo with the flowers and everything, and it's all pink and purple. That's the page. When you see the darker one with the black background, that's Indigo Sage, where I put personal things. Like, for instance, maybe the current song that I'm listening to at that time, and possibly you might catch me writing how it makes me feel. Okay? So anyway, check out unapologeticallysage.com. Check out Unapologetically Sage Walking Meditations on Instagram, and check out Unapologetically Sage page and Unapologetically Sage personality, Indigo Sage, the person, at Facebook. I am Indigo Sage, an awakened soul. Welcome to my Tales of Tarot Intuition series. The purpose of this series is to showcase tarot cards of the same title featuring different imagery. I will discuss the meaning of the card, but ultimately we will discuss the meaning that the image displays, because you must remember not every image means the same to each person. Some tarot readers base their sessions on imagery alone. Both imagery and intuition are very important in tarot. The info for the decks will be in the description box below. As a bonus, I will highlight one angel number message at the end of each video in this series. Angel number messages, the tiles that I've created, were created by me as a companion to each of my tarot reading videos. Our guardian angels use number messages to communicate with us all the time. This video series will provide some insights for the featured angel number message at the end of the video. Now let's sage this out. Here we are at the Knight of Cups. De Marciel shows us the classic image from the French deck. The Knight of Cups image implies slow moves forward, which gives the entire setting an overall suggestion of peace and calmness. This is opposite of the depiction for other knights that appear to be charging forward. Now, those other knights that are charging forward, like obviously charging forward, are, of course, the top of the list is the Swords, Knight of Swords, and then there's the Knight of Wands. They're charging forward. So this one, you can tell he's not charging forward. He is galloping slow and calmly, which suggests peace and calmness. And it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. But I will say this. He ain't as slow as the Knight of Pentacles. But we're not talking about the Knight of Pentacles. We are talking about the Knight of Cups. In this image, I am displaying the Easy Tarot Knight of Cups. And as I say all the time, we go off of imagery. So let's actually focus on the face direction and what that means in the court cards in tarot. If a figure on the card faces left, that could represent the past. If a figure on the card faces forward, that could represent present. If a figure on the card faces right, that could represent future. So you don't have to always go off of Rider Waite, because there are different decks with different interpretations, and they get deep when you go off of imagery. And even with this horse bucking, because this looks like a buck to me, like the horse is bucking, and I've never noticed a bucking horse for Knight of Cups. But he's holding that cup, and guess what? Ain't nothing spilling out. Ain't nothing spilling out of that cup. The horse is bucking, but he's going forward anyway. He's holding that cup up high, and nothing is spilling out of that cup. Now that says something, okay? Good old Rider Waite. This good old Rider Waite says this knight moves forward on his dreams, projects, and ideas in a certain way that makes them become what? Reality. Y'all know I like to repeat stuff, so I'm going to repeat it. This Rider Waite card for the Knight of Cups embodies. This knight moves forward on his dreams, projects, and ideas in a certain way that makes them become reality. Did you hear me? This knight right here is purposeful. In this deck, Modern Witch, this kind of reminds us that this knight uses their charm to attract others in a masterful way. This knight is kind and caring and very in touch with their feminine energy. Here's where you all need to understand that we all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Okay? Come on. And realize it and accept it. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Okay? Felt like I had to repeat that. Recently, I was with some people who seem to not understand that. This knight uses their charm to attract others in a masterful way. This knight is kind and caring and very in touch with their feminine energy. Now that is whether or not you are a male or a female when this card shows up. Okay? Here we are at the So Below deck imagery, which is one of my favorites, as usual. Saved him for last. Look at him. When faced with a decision, the Knight of Cups will use his heart over his head. When faced with a decision, the Knight of Cups will use his heart over his head. Look at the imagery. Now you can see in this imagery that he has been looking at photos and books, and look like that might be his diary of what he wrote. And he got his hand on his head, his eyes closed. He might be scratching his head, really thinking about some things. So that's the Knight of Cups for you, you know. And when faced with a decision, the Knight of Cups will use his heart over his head. Whether that's good or bad, that is up to you to decide. That's up to you to decide. But that's what this card represents. This card meaning the Knight of Cups. Okay? The son of the King of Cups. And he looked distraught to me. And he got his little photos and books all strewn across the floor of his seat, leaning against a tree. You know, what he going through? I don't know what he's going through, but ultimately he's going to use his heart over his head. And so he shows up as the Knight of Cups, who moves slow, okay? Slow enough not to be called foolish, but faster than the Knight of Pentacles or whatever, because Pentacles, they're the slowest for whatever reason. And Pentacles are earth energy, but that's a whole nother session. And maybe I'll do them next since they came up. Okay, I'm gonna do them next. But right here, right now, when faced with a decision, the Knight of Cups will use his heart over his head. Okay? But he been thinking. You can look at that picture and tell he been thinking. You can look at the picture and tell he been thinking. So he's different than any other knight. He thinks and then he decides with his heart over his head. And I keep saying that because I don't really know if that's, I can't say if that's good or bad. But of course I can't say that because this is not a reading. But just know when this card pops up, look at imagery. Look at what's going on with imagery, because the cards that I've shown you, they're all different. Every single one is different. And this one, you clearly can see that he's distressed. He's distressed. So, but he's going to choose his heart over his head. Okay. Hello, Sagies. Click like if you liked it and it resonated with you in any kind of way. And subscribe. Just show me some support. That's all you gotta do. Show me a little support and click subscribe. Promise you won't regret it. Alright? Also remember to check me out at unapologeticallysage.com just to talk about spiritual awakening and view wonderful pictures of my walking meditations and everything else in between. Okay, don't forget there's also like a morning muse where there's lots of memes, spiritual memes, where I promise you one or more will make you laugh. So go ahead and check me out also at unapologeticallysage.com. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.